Okay, this is the how I laid out my pin board. As you can see, it's clamped to the leg of my vise. And what I did was I laid the tailboard flat on the bench, and I used the vise to hold this up against the top of the bench, and then I traced out where the tails are going to go, and I marked, the waste material, and on the inside, I thought it was inside. Oh. On the inside of the boards, I marked like 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and I have that on this one too. And it does matter a lot how you do it, because if you do it this way, even though they're both 2, the second side, but if you flip it over, it's not going to be right, because if you notice that the tails are just a little off, because I'm not really that exact on cutting them out. But if the ideal thing with any tail should fit in any pin board, right? But I'm not that good yet. And when I was doing this, I did notice there's a lot of stuff that I have to take out right in here. Oh, I'll find a better one. Okay, on the side here, if you look at the very bottom, this little bit's got to be cleaned up. This side is just a shade too extruding. Same on this side. I got to clean that up. I want to do that before I cut the pin board out, because it's going to matter when I fit it. And then the inside, I got to work on those sides a little bit too. But see, that's the thing when I was using the construction chisels rather than my bench chisels. And the reason I was doing that is because the bench chisels are designed for more, you don't care if you hit a nail or something. But this is hard maple. I mean, really hard maple. So I didn't want to ruin my good chisels on it. So, but I can see I'm going to have to take my good chisels and trim the sides of the tails a little bit. But that's okay, Better to do it now, and I got the time. But all in all, I'm kind of happy with the way that the tails came out. And I got enough to keep me busy for a little while. I'm off today, but I got to do some stuff. But yeah, you see, I just didn't want to use my really good chisels. It's a lot easier to use the chisels that I don't care if anything happens to them. But this is a good chisel. It's a It's one of the wider ones I have. I might use this one to clean it up, because it's better than the construction chisel, but it's not one of my really good chisels. I hate using the good chisels for something like that. But anyway, when I start chopping out the pins, yeah, I marked the way. So when I start chopping these out, I'll bring you guys back. So you guys have a good one. So this is one of my construction chisels. I had to break them out. And I have, there's actually 5 of them, but I don't know where the other one is. I got to find it. But basically, they're just solid pieces of metal, and they're perfect for the hard maple. And some people, I guess, use them when, you know, they buy reclaimed lumber from, you know, when they tear down barns and stuff like that, and they don't want to ruin their stuff, their good stuff on with hitting a nail or something. So they just get the construction chisel, and they're actually pretty good. I used them before for, I had a house in Virginia that I had to get some stuff out of a wall that the owner, he was a handyman, but I had to get some stuff out of the wall that he put in, and I didn't want to ruin anything good, so I used my construction chisels to take them out. But anyway, I'm gonna continue cleaning it up. Maybe I can cut out one tail. I got some stuff to do today. We're gonna go have a picnic, go walk and have a picnic, so I gotta get what I can done. If I can just clean one board up and maybe start sawing this one out, maybe I'll be good, but I'm not expecting too much. Maybe when we get back from the picnic, I'll be able to do some more work. But anyway, I'll catch you guys later. So I used my crosscut saw to cut those out. And even though this is just pine, I'm thinking of using the construction chisels on this one also, just because it seems, since it's not a delicate project, I might need that extra, I don't know, oomph factor. But normally what I would do is take a coping saw, and I would, you know, cut some of this stuff out and then chisel just the bottom to clean it up. But that's a lot of sawing, but I'm gonna try the coping saw to see how it works first. And then if it don't work, I'll take my construction chisels and finish it up. But I'll bring you guys back later. So my coping saw idea didn't work. It was just, the wood's just too thick. So I took my crosscut saw and I drove made a channel, cut in the middle, so that when I get my chisels in there, it'll be a little easier to work around, because I can pop it out. But after I get that done, I'll bring you guys back. So I found the easiest way over the years to knock out something like this is to take first, make an indentation, go down a little bit on this side, and then take a smaller chisel and go this way. And it seems to work pretty good at knocking out a huge amount of wood at one time. I think it's a little quicker than a saw, coping saw, if you can pull it off. And especially in the hard maple, that was a kind of a lifesaver. Well, anyway, I'm going to finish knocking these out, and then I'll try to fit the board and see how that looks, and I'll bring you back for that. One thing I failed to mention is that after you do about halfway, then you flip it and you do the other side so that you don't have a huge chunk of wood coming out at the opposite end where, you know, just the tension on the wood kind of tore the fibers. So when I get to that part, I'll show you what I mean. One thing I made this a long time ago. I just took a tree branch and you know, cut out enough for my hand, and it's heavy. It's beat up, but I don't care what happens to it. You know, I'm not going to ruin a good mallet on this, especially when I use the construction chisels. So to whack, especially to whack down, I need that extra force. So my heavy mallet I use for that, and then it makes life easier to come out from the side. But yeah, I recommend everybody find a tree branch and just, you know, cut off enough. And if this ever breaks off, I'll just throw it in the fire pit. So I thought I'd bring you back for a second. So this is my wide construction chisel, and this is the back end of the tail. And I just happened to get lucky that the chisel is the width of what I'm going to be chopping out. Now, that is something I just got lucky on this side this time, so I didn't plan this at all. But one thing to consider when laying out the tails is you might want to use a chisel, or the main chisel that you're going to use to lay it out, so that you don't have to get a different kind of chisel or something. But if your chisel actually goes the entire way down, it's going to work a lot better than if you, like the small one where I got to go a little and then move it over. I can get a better result with the bigger chisel. But when you're laying out your tails and everything, if you lay it out so that the chisel will fit the small side of the pin board, that's kind of going to help you out. The thing is, if you did that with the smaller chisel, you know, the angle's going to stay the same. I use like 14-degree angles, and because what I did was I bought a dovetail gauge, and so even though the pin would be smaller, you know, it just means I move I just would move it over and make a smaller tail. But anyway, that's for people who are interested in trying this hand tool stuff. it might pay to, on your pin board, to make the small side of your pin, or I'm sorry, whoever's trying to do a hand tool shop like I am, when you're doing the dovetails, to make the small side of your pin the width of your chisel. That'd save you a little bit of aggravation in the end. And if you notice here, I did not go all the way down to the line. And that's not a showstopper. It just means I got to clean it up a little bit with the chisels. And I've had a lot of practice on that. So anyway, if you notice, I've gone about halfway. And so I've taken my big chisel and I've made the indentations. So I'm going to take my small chisel, pop them out, and I could even take the big chisel and pop it out. But yeah, because I could take the big chisel and pop it out too. So yeah, but the small, yeah, I haven't decided yet. But anyway, that's what I'm up to right now. I think I might do the small chisel because when I get down to here where I haven't gone all the way to the wood, the line, I'm going to have to break out my better chisel to clean that up a little bit. So anyway, when I get done with this, I'll bring you guys back. So this is an example of what I didn't want to do. When I was knocking the pin out, I was a little too aggressive, and when I punched down, I ripped out a little chunk. Now that's not gonna matter a whole lot, but the only thing that matters is when I glue it up, because there's less surface area for the glue to adhere to. But I could maybe patch that a little bit, but I'm probably going to be too lazy to do it. So yeah, when I take this out, I'll try to be a little more careful. Maybe I should go down a little more on this side. But anyway, that's what I was trying to avoid. But oh well. Okay, so I'm fitting it, and as you can see, it's a little better, but it's still too tight. So I want to take a little off this side and a little more off this side. Now the thing is, even though the glue that I'm going to use is going to act like a lubricant, it's still not going to be enough, because this hard maple does not give at all. The pine is compressed a little bit, but that hard maple, no way. So I'm going to sharpen my chisel and try to fit this a little better. Okay, definitely not my best work, but it's not going anywhere. And I'll take some of these little pieces off the floor when I glue it up and fill in some of the gaps. That's what I did on the other ones. But yeah, that'll hold. It'll do the job. So once I get the other ones done, then I can worry about how I'm going to do the stand for it. That's going to be kind of tricky too. I think a little more trickier than I thought, but we'll see how it goes.